Hey everybody, it's Laura with Jot and Tittle Vintage Typewriters coming you today with an Electra 220. I think it's been a while since I've done a tutorial video on it, so I'm going to do a quick tutorial, but I'm also kind of introducing this. I get a lot of questions as to what's a good beginner typewriter, and so this is always this one and the 120 are the 110s. Either the 100 series or the 200 series of the Electras are my favorite to recommend for those just starting out with vintage typewriters. And the reason is they're just so easy to use. If you've never touched a typewriter before or it's been a long time, they're not intimidating. For some reason, these models, they're just not intimidating. You do plug them in, they're electric. And so that makes them easier to type, and so it's a really good transition from a computer keyboard to a typewriter keyboard because it's still very easy to type on. Even little kids can, or those who have, either petite hands or like the elderly who just don't have a lot of strength in their fingers, everybody can still easily use this typewriter. If you're a fast typist, which a lot of people are with the computers these days, you can type very fast on these typewriters. The 220 and also the 200 series is completely electric. There's no return handle, so you don't have to worry about using a return handle. Now, if you want to get used to using a return handle, then the 100 series would be better for you. But for those that are just kind of want to figure out if they like typewriters or not, this is a great one to try out. So the 220, that means it has the extended carriage, the longer carriage. A 210 has a carriage that is lined up flush with the typewriter. So the only difference is the carriage size between the 210 and the 220. So the 200 series would be probably my number one choice for those who've had zero experience with typewriters, that or the 100 series. The nice thing about the 100 series, it's got the manual, and you can get into the habit of what it feels like to type and then use a manual return. But this is the closest one to the transition between a typewriter and a computer. So those are the reasons why I recommend it for those who are just getting started. And it's a workhorse. And these things are just really solid machines. Okay, so now I am going to do a very quick tutorial. It's not going to be too detailed. And I'm going to blow through it pretty quickly. But first of all, here is what that typeface looks like. On this particular one, it's 12 characters per inch. Some of them may have 10 characters per inch, so I can't tell you if they all come with a certain typeface or not. They don't, they're different. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it on. Here's your on-off switch right here. Make sure it's plugged into the wall. Excuse me, my throat is dry. I always like to give it a few seconds. Like when I first plugged this in this morning, that motor wasn't kicking in, and if that ever happens to you, all you usually need to do is like hit the power return or the tab, something like that, just to move the carriage, and that motor will kick right in. And so as soon as I did that, the motor just has, and it's probably because it hasn't been used in a long time. Rob worked on this several months ago, and it's just been waiting for me to get around, so it just needed to be woken up. But if that ever does happen to you, if you find one that's been sitting in a garage for a while, you may just have to, kind of move things around a bit just to kind of wake it up. Also, it'll probably need a little bit of maintenance on it. But anyway, this is gold metallic. They come in a blue metallic and a green metallic as well. I do like the gold a lot. Okay, so to load the paper, you're going to come behind this metal plate and just go behind it and right there. And you use this handle and you roll your paper through. I guess I'm jumping ahead. This is your carriage right here, and these are where you set your margins, and you just press and drag. And so the carriage, this is the carriage release. These two black levers back here, you pull them in, that carriage is going to move as far as you have the margins set. And there's your bell. Sounds really good. So if I bring my margins all the way in to fit my paper, well, now my carriage is only going to move as far as my margins. I've got my paper holder already set up. I like using the paper holders. On the right side, you have your paper release. So let's say my paper was crooked, and then I could adjust it, make sure it's nice and even, and then re-engage it. And then on the left side, I have a 1, 2, and a 3. That is when I hit the return, is it going to advance 1, 2, or 3 lines. So that is what that is for. If you open it up, on the left side, you'll see, and I'll try. I don't know if you can see that or not. That motor turning. There you go. That's your motor. On the left side, here is your ribbon. It does use a universal ribbon, and we will have a video for you. I'll try to remember to tag that video. Otherwise, just go to our playlist under Changing Typewriter Ribbons. It shows you how to change the ribbons. Make sure black is on top, red is on the bottom. The ribbon goes over the top, around the side, and underneath. Same with this one, over the top and underneath. This is your type bars down here in your typing basket. It's also called the escapement area. Down here, your power light, and then you have, oops, I hit a button. You have your tab, and then I could clear that tab by pressing this. So now that's clear. By the way, please don't put any mugs or anything breakable or spillable around your carriage. Speaking from experience here. Also, to set your tab, you just power space over, or just move to where you want it. Just hit set, and now you have a tab. Okay? And if you get a typewriter and there's like 100 little tabs set, which happens all the time, then what you do is you hold down clear and release your carriage. I go back and forth a couple times, and then I release both, and all of your tabs will be clear. Okay? So that is how that works. Then down here, you've got your keys. They're very easy to type on. So, and then you have your shift, which is like your caps lock. Here's your caps lock right here. And to release the caps lock, press either of these shifts, and that'll release them. So you have lowercase, shift, uppercase. Up here you have numbers, and then symbols on the top. You have half space, regular space, power space, half space, and I am not good at this at all, so I'm not even going to try to show you. Like if you used to, in the past, misspell, and you missed a letter, there's a way to use half space to kind of squeeze it in there. I am terrible at it, so I'm not even going to try to show you. This is your ribbon reversal. So when you get to the end of your ribbon, let's see which way is it. It's going this way right now. When you get to the end of your ribbon, it is not the end of the ink in your ribbon. You need to reverse the direction of your ribbon. And just you go back and forth till you use up all of the ink in your ribbon. Okay, so copy set down here. This just determines how hard these type bars strike your paper. I don't notice a difference, but maybe you will. And then this is your backspace. Backspace is not a delete button. It doesn't erase. It just backspaces, and then you can type over your mistakes. You will make a mistake. That's okay. It's part of typewriting. You can put an X through them, a line through them. You can just cross out the whole word and retype, whatever you need to do. And then you have a margin release. So what happens is, and you're typing a line, and you there's your bell saying, hey, you're getting close to your margin. And then it's going to stop on you. It's not going to let you type anymore because you're at the end of your margin. You hit margin release, MR, finish your word, and go to the next line. So that is the really quick basics of how to use an ELECTRA 220. It's super simple. Like I said, they're not intimidating at all, but they're a really good, solid workhorse machine. Perfect for those of you just getting started into typewriters, or if you really do have a lot of, these were office machines, if you do have a lot of work to do and you want to do it on a typewriter, I would get one of these. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good day.